Hey guys, welcome back to What Shall We Do Next, and today I wanted to address where I've been the last couple of weeks, and I felt like Annabelle needed to be here for this video. I know I don't typically post on a Sunday, but I've been thinking a lot today. I was kind of bored. I'm kind of having a lazy day. So as you guys know, I've been inactive on YouTube the last couple of weeks, and the reason for that is I went traveling. Can you believe it? I actually left my house the first time in 4 years. Honestly, though, it was kind of like I was at breaking point. You guys know every now and then I throw in a mental breakdown video where I'm just like, I hate my life. I don't know what to do anymore. And I feel like this was a trip that was much needed, and I had an actual motive to go. And it was because Samara Lee, who played Annabelle in the Annabelle movies, well, specifically Annabelle Creation and Annabelle Comes Home, she is the girl who was the Mullins daughter who gets hit and killed by the car in Annabelle Creation at the beginning. And she was doing an event at HorrorCon in Madrid in Spain. I haven't been to Spain for 4 years. That was the last time I was there when I was with my ex-girlfriend. And so I have a lot of negative memories about that place. And I wanted to kind of do something which would change my view on Spain. It was kind of a last minute thing. I didn't know she was gonna be there until like 2 weeks before. She posted on her Instagram announcing that she's gonna be at HorrorCon Spain in Madrid and to come. I remember sitting there and I was thinking about it and I was just like, oh man, I really wish I could go. And then I thought, you know what? Screw it. How often do I do anything spontaneous? I deserve a treat. So I did. I just decided to book the actual event, which was $45 or euros, and then I had to like book the flight, book a hotel, and I went for a week. It was a very spontaneous trip. I went alone, completely alone. Everything went perfectly, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit, and I wanted to talk about my encounter with Samara Lee and how she is in real life. A little diva. Now, honestly, though, I was going into this a little nervous because they always say, like, don't meet your heroes or don't meet anybody that you're, like, a fan of because you'll be very disappointed. And I went to this kind of expecting her to be, like, a celebrity, like, Hollywood diva. I don't know what I was thinking, really. But she was, like, the polar opposite of that. She was so genuine and so nice and so, like, just so real, so, like, normal, I guess. She was just kind of a horror fan herself. Like, she was very passionate about horror. And it was just kind of like, I was in my element. I was just happy to see somebody who could kind of relate to me in a way because I am very, very passionate about horror to the point where it's like, I literally think about it like 95% of my waking hours. I just was thinking like sometimes I would get the impression like there's something wrong with me or like why does nobody else, everybody likes horror movies, but nobody shares the same enthusiasm and passion as I do for it. And I guess it's just because I just haven't found my people, and Samara Lee is my people. Her mom also was really cool. I got to meet her mom. I never even knew what her mom looked like. She was super cool. She was super fun. Oh, it's just Samara Lee sending me a text. We're super tight now, by the way. By the way, I have posted some pictures on Instagram of this encounter. You should definitely check it out. I'll put the link in the description. So I wanted to walk you through the story of everything that happened that day. It was the 22nd, and it was a Sunday. It was just last week. It was actually a week ago today. I think that's why I've been thinking about it today. Basically, I got there the day before. It was a Saturday. I flew out. I arrived and got to my hotel. Didn't really do anything that day. I was just kind of tired, so I went to bed. And then the next day, I was like fully recharged, fully energized, ready to meet the star, the literal, like, I guess the actual face of Annabelle, the living form, I mean. And so I became nervous, like overwhelmingly nervous. It went from being excited to nervous. And I got to this place, I got an email from the HorrorCon event saying to arrive at this hotel, which was only about 15 minutes away from where I was staying in another hotel. And it said to get there about 40 minutes before the actual event, which was going to be at 12 p.m. So just to be sure, I got there an hour and 20 minutes early, and to the point where I was the only one there, and I was not sure if I was in the right place. I was waiting around in the hotel. I asked the receptionist at this hotel. She said, yeah, you're just a little early, but you can hang out if you want. Sat there. I was like getting really hot, getting flustered. I was sweating. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to pass out. Like, I've never actually passed out in my life, but I came pretty damn close. Like, I had to go and get some water because I was literally just like, I could feel, I was like, I'm going. I was having a real hard time trying to keep it together. I was so overly excited. I've never been to a horror con before, so I didn't know what to expect. I was just excited. Anyway, time went on. It got to like 11:45 and more people were arriving, like some people coming for autographs. I noticed then I was like definitely in the right place because I saw other people had like their autograph books and like things they wanted her to sign. And so I was like a little relieved at that point. It got to 12. And that's when, like, the HorrorCon staff and everybody was talking, but because I'm an English speaker and they weren't, because I was in Spain, it was kind of difficult. I was literally the only person who could speak English there, except for Samara and her mom, which made things somewhat difficult for me to understand what exactly is going on here. They're all talking amongst themselves. They're talking to the other people who were coming to, like, see Samara. And I just couldn't get in on the action at all. I didn't know what was going on. But then I met one of them that told me, he was like, I can speak pretty good English, stick with me. So that's what I did. I saw them all talking to each other and there was like, what's going on? What's going on? And I thought, oh, God damn it. No, my luck, she's probably canceled. I'm all the way over here in Spain and she's probably like not even here. She's in California. So I started to panic a little bit because I could see that they were like talking, but then it just turned out they were just saying like she's gonna be late, she slept in. Typical teenager. She was around 20 minutes late, 30 minutes maybe, and then she came down. We all got taken into the hall. It was like this ballroom in the hotel, and they had like chairs set out and they had this table set out at the front where she was going to be sitting, and there was like this cool HorrorCon backdrop behind, and then she came in and my heart was doing things I didn't know it could do. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I just can't. I can't. It's like, it was so, like, I've never been so overwhelmed in my life. I never thought I would act like that about a human being, but I was getting so overwhelmed. The good thing is I wasn't the only one that had terrible Spanish speaking skills, because Samara had to have this guy who could speak good English. He was like the guide, I guess. He was like the leader, and he was doing the translating for her. So she sat down, she took some Q&A and questions, and I asked her 3 questions. Well, she was a little surprised to see somebody else actually spoke English there, because a few people asked before me, and the translator was like translating them back to her, and then she would answer in English, and then he would translate back to the crowd. And also the way she was sitting, she brought her own Annabelle doll with her. And the way she was like, she sat Annabelle was looking directly at me like this. I tried to get a picture of her on my camera, but it turned out blurred, so it wasn't very good. But it was like super funny because the Annabelle doll was just like right into my eyes. The questions I decided to ask her, I put up my hand and I said, I speak English, so I can talk to you in English. And she was just kind of like, oh. And I said to her, do you believe in ghosts yourself? Like, you play Annabelle Mullins. She was, for the most of the movies, like, she was kind of the ghost. Even though it wasn't really her, it was a demon manifesting as her, but she played the ghost of Annabelle. Do you believe in ghosts yourself? She said she's had some experiences in her life. Some of them they believe to be demonic. And she's doing pretty good now. Like, they seem like everything's kind of going well in their lives, but she definitely has some trouble sleeping at night, she said. Then I asked her, do you see a future for yourself in the Conjuring universe? Because obviously she looks much older now. It would be kind of difficult for her to still play Bee, because Bee died when she was like 7 years old. So now with her being 15, she looks much older. It's going to be hard for her to, it would have to be a prequel again. And to be able to do that, she would still have to look like a 7-year-old, and she doesn't do that anymore. So I wasn't sure if she was like, I wanted to know if she sees a future for herself, maybe playing another character, but still being in the universe in some way. And she said she definitely hopes for it. Like, she really loves the Conjuring movies and everything like that. And so I really hope that for her. I really want to see her come back, even if it's a different character that wouldn't be recognizable as Bee, but like somebody else. Then I asked her, did she feel intimidated, like on Annabelle creation, because she was literally the youngest, working with some of the other girls who were much older, like Talitha Bateman, Lulu Wilson, and she said she got along really well with everybody and that they were all super kind and friendly to her, especially Lulu Wilson. She did have a lot of nice things to say about her. Anyway, after the whole like talking and the Q&A thing, it was then time to get to the signing. So I was second. I got my stuff signed. I took my Annabelle creation hat, you know, that limited edition promo hat that I have. I took that and she signed it. I'll show you guys. This is the hat that I got a while ago. I've showed you guys this before. It's a limited edition. It was like the promotional hat. It still has on the back right here, in theaters August 11th. And it's got right here, to Mike. And then I asked her, she said, do you want to have anything on there? Like, do you want me to write anything? So I put like, oh, just like saying quotations, found you, like those little notes that Bee was leaving around the house. Or not Bee at this point, it was the Annabelle doll, left a note saying, found you, to Mr. Mullins. So I said, that would be pretty cool if you did that. So she wrote "Found You," and then she signed, she finished it off with "Bee Mullins," and then she signed it right here with her autograph. So I was super happy about that. I'm gonna put this in like a shadow box along with that necklace, the little pendant that's also from Annabelle Creation. This was a problem, but I asked her, actually she really liked this. I think I made a very memorable impression. She might even remember me as Bellboy now, because you know the Mrs. Mullins bell that I got? I did have to stuff it with tissue because this was ringing a lot in the airport when I was going there. It was just like, you could hear it in my bag. Everybody's like, what is that ringing sound? And I'm like, I don't know, where's that coming from? So this bell is the exact Mrs. Mullins bell that you see in the movie. You don't really see it that much unless you're paying super close attention, but I have showed you guys this before. I managed to find this after years of looking for a prop from the movie. She asked me, she said it was really cool, and she was like, wow, that's so cool. Like, I've never seen nobody's ever brought me something from the movie itself to be signed. I said, well, I don't. She was like, is it the one from like Screen Used? I was like, I don't know for sure, but I know it's the exact like bell. I've studied the movie, I've looked at this, it's exactly the same, but it could be a reproduction. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's like the actual Miranda Otto has held this in her hand kind of bell. But she signed it right there. I asked her if she could sign it, and she didn't really want to do it. She didn't want to ruin it. But she tried. I said, I know it's going to be kind of hard because of all the grooves and everything and the size of it, but she signed it right here. Oh, it's so cute. I can't believe she did that. Thank you, Samara, if you ever happen to see this video. I was really happy she signed the Mrs. Mullins bell. That just made me super happy. But yeah, I don't know if you guys can even see it really on camera, but right there, she just signed it. I also, of course, as you guys know, I collect actual 10x8 autographed pictures, and I was going to take one with me that I had, and I forgot it, and I was very upset about that. I just kind of knew something was going to go wrong. It's just my luck. Luckily, they came prepared. They had their own pictures and stuff there for people to sign. And so I got an actual picture. I already had one from Samara Lee, but it was like one that I bought online, just to try and complete my collection. And I got this one. It's personalized. I don't know if you guys can see it right there. It's kind of hard in the shaded areas because she used black pen. Oh, by the way, I did take my own Sharpies because I knew I wanted her to sign the hat in silver so it would show up. And I was worried they wouldn't have a silver pen. So I took it and she kept my Sharpie. So that's fun. But yeah, she signed this for me. She's wrote to Mike, found you, again, like in the quotation marks, love, Samara Lee, and then Annabelle Bee Mullins. And there's a picture of her from the scene in Annabelle Comes Home when she's knocking on the door. Mary Ellen opens the door and she's like, can Annabelle come out and play? And then Mary Ellen's like, there's nobody here called Annabelle. And she's like, yes, she is. She's right behind you. It's crazy how much, like, this is how I was used to Samara Lee looking. But then meeting her in real life, she looks much different, to the point where when I came home and I realized, like, I looked at this again, I was like, she looks so different. Now I'm used to seeing her in real life, that, like, seeing her in the movie kind of looks so crazy. She looks so young. She's like a little baby here. So I was really happy to get an autograph from her. I remember trying to find an autograph from her a while ago, and it was super hard to find. So now I have one that's actually personalized to me, and it means the world to me, honestly. After the autograph signing, we then got pictures together, and I posted on Instagram, like I said, but I'll put it in the video as well so you guys can see. This is a picture of me and Samara Lee together, and it was just really kind of funny because when I walked over for my turn to get the picture with her, we kind of like did that thing where you're like dancing, because I went to go to her left side and she kind of moved to the left, and I was like, oh, should I go this side? Or like, and she was like, yeah, you can. And I just kind of did that a couple of times, and it was kind of funny. And then we got the picture together, and I was super happy how it turned out. They took that there and then they emailed it to us after, and I was a little worried that my double chin would be there would be wrinkles, there would be a problem, like, I don't know, I was just a little worried. I can be very self-conscious, as you guys know, but I was very happy how it turned out. Yeah, I love it so much. Also, a little fun fact about her, which she did tell in the actual Q&A part, because her mom was there sitting a few seats behind me, and I didn't know her mom at all. Like, I've never seen her mom, so I didn't recognize her, but she asked a question, and I realized, like, oh, somebody else speaks English here. And she asked, what do you think about, like, Raggedy Ann dolls? And she said, oh, I hate them. Like, I hate the original Annabelle. One time when I was younger, my mom put a Raggedy Ann in my bed, and I started freaking out and screaming to call the police. And everybody kind of laughed. It was funny. And then she said, and by the way, that was my mom that asked the question. So everyone's like kind of looking. And it was really cool to meet her mom. She actually looked so like young, and she looked so fun, and she was like really cool. She also said that her name Samara, like, I've always thought this, like, because Samara's not that common of a name, and the only other Samara that well, I used to know a girl in school called Samara, but I've never met anybody called Samara besides Samara Morgan from The Ring, and she said she was actually named after Samara Morgan, which is crazy. I thought that was super cool. Now, this is where the day gets real interesting. After the event, everybody kind of like, the staff were like packing up the hall and stuff like that. Everybody kind of went to the foyer of this hotel, and Samara was sitting down with her mom. Some of the staff were there, like the HorrorCon staff, and everybody was just kind of waiting, and I was trying to stick around that guy that said like that he was like doing the translating for us, and I was trying to stick with him. So because I was sticking with him as well, I ended up sticking with like Samara and her mom. And this is kind of where things got real interesting and real crazy. I don't know how I ended up in this situation, but it was like the best day of my life, honestly. I had a chance to talk a little more to Samara and her mom in the foyer while we were kind of waiting. I didn't really know what we were waiting for. I thought it was like the end of the event, but then I was told like, come on, come this way, stick with me, follow me. So I followed, and we all kind of were like walked down the street, and we had to go across the street and walk down this like to this other building a few blocks away. And I was literally walking like right next to Samara Lee. She was like right there, and I was like, I can't believe it. I'm walking right next to Annabelle Mullins right now. We got walked to the other part of this, like, it was like a horror event, like a walk-through haunted house attraction, but it was like an underground. I didn't pay for this. There was nothing about this. I just went, I followed along, and I went down these stairs, and there was like a bunch of people there in costumes and stuff like that were kind of like, I don't know what was going on at this point. I was a little kind of confused. I didn't really know what to do. And I was taken down the stairs. Like, I thought I was going to get told to go away at this point. But I was asked, like, follow me. So I followed, and we were, like, escorted down these stairs that went to, like, this underground door. And we had been told then to wait, and there was this girl that was screaming behind me. She was really scary. A lot of monsters and demons and weird stuff going on there. And we were just told to wait on the stairs. And this is where I had like my first realization that Samara's like, she's just a kid. I was just stood there, and I was kind of waiting and just watching to see what was going on. At this point, it was literally like everyone else had gone. It was just me, her, and her mom. And I was thinking, I don't know if I should be here, but I'm not going to say anything because I'm having a good time. And this is where I had like my first realization that Samara's like, she's not just this like celebrity. She's still kind of a kid. And she was stood on the stairs a few steps in front of me. And I just like was watching her, and she just turned around and she just goes, and I thought that, like, I just thought that was super, like, innocent and wholesome, and I just, like, I realized then she's still, like, a human being, and she's still a kid, but she was, like, a lot braver than me in that tunnel. I was absolutely dooking myself walking through that. It was like we got to the bottom, then they opened the doors, let us in. It was pitch black in there. All I could see was like candlelight at the end of this tunnel. We were told to walk through, and things were gonna try and get us and keep us forever or something like that. I don't know. There was like scary demons trying to talk to us, but they were talking in Spanish, so then the translator had to tell us what he was saying. And the whole time I couldn't really focus at all. Like, my brain was just so, I didn't want to freak out. I was trying, like, constantly reminding myself, hold it together, Mike, calm down. I know Annabelle Mullins is right here in front of you, but just stay calm. And I was having a real difficult time doing that. I didn't want to act like a fan. There were so many chances I could have been like, get a selfie with me. But I didn't want to do that because she was being so cool and so genuine with me and treating me like, almost like a friend, talking to me like that. So I wanted to be the same way with her, just out of respect. I didn't want to freak out or treat her like a celebrity. I wanted to treat her just like a normal person, like somebody who's cool. And so that's what I did. Internally, though, that was a different story. I was like, oh my god, it was so overwhelming. But yeah, we got escorted down these stairs, then the doors opened, demons came to the door and met us. There was nuns down there was demons, there was a lot of crazy stuff going on. And I had a hard time even focusing because all I could see in this dark, scary tunnel was like Samara Lee right there in front of me. And I was like, how am I in this tunnel with Samara Lee, like in this dark, scary, like underground catacomb thing with demons jumping out and nuns and everything? How am I in here? Like, I don't feel like I should be in here, because at that point it was literally just me, her, and her mom, and the guide, the one who could translate for us. And I was like, what is going on? I didn't pay for this. I didn't even read anything about this. And then that tunnel led to this other building where she did another like signing and photos with people, and they let in more people at that point. And I was just like sitting there on these chairs, and I was like hanging by her mom, and I was like, it was just crazy. And then again, everybody left, and it was just me, her mom, and the staff again. And I was like, what is happening? Am I like VIP or something? And I just don't know. But I got to hang out with her and stuff like that. And spent a lot more time with her than I thought I was going to, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And we were just like, after that, we were taken back to another part of this hotel. Not the hotel, this was a different building. We were taken back to like another waiting area again, where we got to like talk to some of the people in costumes at that point. And I was just kind of like sticking with them. And then afterwards, like, we went out to eat, and I went to this, we went right back like the way we came, and there was like this shopping center right next to the hotel that we were originally at. And I thought like for sure the HorrorCon staff, because it was literally just like me and like them at this point, and I thought they were going to tell me like, this is the part where you go away. And they didn't. Like, I actually went out to eat with them and stuff like that, and I was just like, I had this pizza. It was like this pizza place. Everybody had pizza. And I had a small pepperoni pizza, and I couldn't even eat it because my stomach was like doing crazy things. But there was this one guy that I was talking to. He was one of the workers. I sat next to him on the table, and then we went to the bathroom together. I asked him, is there a bathroom? And he needed to go as well. And this is where it kind of got crazy, and I think there might have been a little bit of a confusion. But he was talking to me, and obviously being Spanish and everything, it was kind of, he knew broken English, and he said to me, so are you like her brother or her dad or something? And I was like, who? And he's like, Samara. I was like, no, I'm just like a fan. I just came here for the autograph signing and the photo. And he's like, huh. And I think in that moment he was thinking, so what are you doing here? Like, how did you end up here? Or like, why are you, how did you go through that tunnel with them? So I think that caused some confusion. I think this thing taking place in Spain actually benefited me in a way, because I feel like they assumed I was with them, like Samara and her mom, and that's why I was like allowed to like be with them more and go around, like go through this scary, creepy underground tunnel and stuff like that. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I wasn't going to say nothing because I was having a good time, and I didn't want to jeopardize that by telling the truth. But I had a real good time. Like, it was honestly life-changing for me. I know that sounds kind of silly to say, but honestly it was. I think meeting Samara, like what I got out of this trip, I thought it would just be cool to meet somebody like that, and like it would be kind of nice for me to get away and break free from this like routinely life that I've been stuck in for the last few years, and actually do something spontaneous and crazy and fun. And it turned into something much more different than that for me. It was almost on a spiritual level. I kind of had this awakening, because as you guys know, you guys have been watching me for years, you know I'm a very like lost, depressed, kind of messed up individual, and I just have no purpose in life, or at least I can't seem to find it. I have no enjoyment in anything that I do, or things that I used to be passionate about are no longer passionate to me. And I think meeting Samara and seeing somebody else like her, who is so passionate about what she does and so into horror, and just owns that she's kind of nerdy, kind of dark, and kind of into this dark horror stuff, loves to scare people, that kind of thing. It reminded me of how passionate I was about that same thing. And it made me want to do better. Like, she was talking to me about how she's doing all these projects and her dreams and her hopes and things. And it made me think about like my dreams and my goals and the things that I gave up on a long time ago. And it made me want to revisit my old passions and revisit my old self. And I've had this like awakening experience, I guess. Like, I found it again. Just meeting Samara like awakened the passion inside me, reminded me who I am, reminded me that I'm nothing, like it's nothing to be ashamed of, because I guess like being a YouTuber, I was getting insecure about getting older. Like, am I too old to be a YouTuber now? And other things like being so interested, being so passionate about horror. I was like, is it weird? Like, is this why I'm having trouble like even finding somebody to settle down with, a girlfriend? I was starting to think maybe there's just something wrong with me. Maybe I just need to stop all of my passions and just be like a normal person. But then I realized after meeting Samara, it's like, there is other people out there like that. I'm not alone. Although I have friends and family and everything, and I'm not lonely, but I've always felt alone. And I guess after meeting Samara, I didn't feel alone anymore. Considering I was like in Spain for a week after that, like just completely alone. I didn't feel alone, but I was alone. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds so crazy, but I no longer feel that I'm alone in the world. There is other people out there like me, and I just need to accept who I am, love who I am, embrace it, and, you know, attract the people who are like that, like my people. Let them come to me, kind of thing. Let them find me, instead of trying to constantly find people, and trying to kind of make people like me, I guess, be a people pleaser or whatever, and worry about like, why am I so different and they're not? Like, just accept it, accept who I am, and like embrace it. And I'm just gonna follow through with my passions, and I'm gonna put more work into YouTube and more effort into my videos, and focus more on the things that just genuinely make me happy, like horror movies and stuff like that. So I guess meeting her has inspired me a lot, and it's also motivated me a lot, and it's made me want to be more myself, instead of trying to constantly wish that I was somebody else and hating myself for being the way I am. So yeah, after that, like, they left and went to their hotel. They were going to drop off the Annabelle doll. The Annabelle doll was with us the entire time. And so after that, I said my goodbyes to everybody. I said I'm gonna get a taxi and go back to my hotel now. But before I got my taxi, I walked across the street, and there was this like park, a little public park. And I walked in there, and there was like a fountain, some benches to sit on, like park benches. And I just sat down just to try to like breathe and like calm down a little, because the whole day was so overwhelming for me. I haven't been that stimulated in a long time. My brain was frazzled, my heart was doing crazy stuff, and so I just sat down to have a breather, and I became super like overwhelmed with emotion, but it was like a good thing. Like, I was so happy that I'd done this, and it just felt like, yeah, it was so good for me. And I felt really happy. I was like, I don't know, I guess I was in kind of shock. And I just sat there for like 30 minutes, and I was just like going between laughing and crying, I guess. I was just kind of just all over the place. And I was like, this has been the best day. And then I got my taxi back to my hotel. And the rest of the trip I just spent alone, and I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. But I really couldn't wait to come home and tell you guys. But yeah, that's pretty much the story of how I met Samara Lee. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video, and stick around for more videos. I'm definitely more motivated now, like I said, so I will be posting more videos. I'm putting a little more work into it, and I feel like it's not going to be such a burden anymore, because like I just feel it again. The love that I once had for horror and YouTube and all of this stuff, it's coming back to me, and so I'm really excited. I just want to thank you guys so much for your support, and I do want to say, I know it's kind of a thing that I say in every video, but I really want to say this with sincerity this time, because for the last few years I've just been saying it out of habit. I kind of gave up on my dreams. But anyway, remember to always, always chase your dreams. Peace out, guys.